Welcome to the Headmaster's house here at the British Schools Museum. The house has been beautifully restored by the museum's volunteers and is the perfect place to discover how a Victorian family lived. The headmaster, Mr. Fitch, lived here for 45 years with his wife Sarah and their children. Let's have a look inside. This is the scullery. I suppose the modern equivalent would be a utility room. Here is the copper, the Victorian washing machine. You must remember that the Victorians, like us, had to keep warm, keep clean and cook, just as we do. But they had to do it without electricity, without running water, and without modern materials like plastic. Running the Victorian house involved a great deal of hard physical work, most of which was done by the wives and daughters, while the men and boys went out to work. This is the kitchen, with its range for baking, cooking and boiling water. However, this is also the dining room and the room in which the family would have spent their evenings. There is a fireplace in every room in the house, but it was expensive to heat and light all of the rooms. The kitchen fire would have been on most of the time, for cooking and heating water for washing, so it made sense to use that room in the evening. The women folk perhaps sewing, and the men folk reading and studying. Now we see the delightful parlour. This room was reserved for special occasions and to entertain important visitors, such as the school inspector. In here we see the impression Mr. Fitch wished to make, scholarly, musical and with an interest in natural history. Mr. and Mrs. Fitch's bedroom is a good size, but with 7 children the cot was a regular feature. Note that there is very little wardrobe or storage space. Aside from the rich, most Victorians had very few clothes and had to make and mend what they did own. 5 of the Fitch's 7 children survived infancy, 4 girls and 1 boy. This, the girls' bedroom, probably contained 2 single beds, with 2 girls to each bed. There was little room, and there would have been very little time for toys. The Victorian bedroom was for sleeping, certainly not for leisure time. There is a washstand, but for the bathroom we have to go outside. This house was built in 1857, and there was no running water until much later. Water was drawn from a nearby pump. The bathroom, therefore, was mobile. The tin bath would have been brought inside to the scullery or the kitchen and filled with warm water from a kettle. Baths would have been taken weekly and in age order. By the time the youngest in the family got in, the water would have been decidedly cool and pretty murky. The smallest room in the house is also in the yard. There is no way of dressing this up. It is a bucket under a wooden plank. Perhaps Mr. Fitch would have warned his students that if they didn't learn their lessons well, they might end up with the job of night soil man, whose job it was to empty those buckets. We hope you have enjoyed your glimpse of the Headmaster's house. It is one of the treasures of the museum and allows our visitors to explore Victorian home life as well as school life.